What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing on the bacon NBA DFS video for Monday, February 5th. We've got 6 games, a great 6-game slate here after having 7 games yesterday. Big shout out to all the new subscribers on the YouTube channel and the Fantasy Team Advisors FTA Plus over there. Big shout out to all of you guys. Couldn't do it without you. A lot of support in yesterday's video. A lot of support in the Discord channel as well. So if you have not already gotten into the Discord channel, in the description of this video will be the article for today and the Discord where we discuss value plays, core plays, questions, comments, concerns. We get those there as well. So sports betting goes there as well. So that being said, you guys, if you're new to the channel, anytime a video gets at least 50 likes and you leave a comment, someone has a chance to win a free week of DFS content. 100 likes, a chance to win a free month. 125 likes, free year. And 150 or more likes, leaving a comment and you are a subscriber, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass. On top of that, another way to win. Like the video, be a subscriber, and tell me who's going to score the most amount of fantasy points on DraftKings and how many fantasy points are they going to score. I need both of them. I need the name and the fantasy points. If you get it closest without going over, you will win a free week. That also will count as your comment for the comment picker. On top of that, if you get it exactly correct, you are going to win a free month. So if there are anybody that wins, and there's one person here on YouTube where I've seen comments, you're saying I haven't gotten back to you. You've got to email me. If you win, you have to email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1, @gmail.com, and we'll get you set up. So if you are the winner, we'll get you set up. So that being said, I will put in the description of I will pin a comment here. If anyone won on Sunday's slate, if they got it correct, I will put the comment in here, and then we'll get you set up for the free week or free month. So that being said, before we get started, again, like I said, we had at least 50 likes. You left a comment. So if you like the video, also leave a comment to try and win. So we have not had a giveaway in a very long time, but we're going to have a giveaway right now. So one lucky person is going to be a winner of a free week of DFS content. So drum roll, please. And the winner is... the amount of unique comments is 10. So, let's go. The winner is Brandon Lozano 4016. Brandon, if you see this, just kind of comment on this video that you saw this, and then hit me up on email, dfshelp1@gmail.com, with a username and an email you would like to use. We will get you set up. And again, if this video gets 50 or more likes, we'll do the same exact thing. So you got to leave comments, guys. Comments are what gets you into the comment picker. So that being said, we have 6 games on the slate, and we're going to look at them. So we're going to look at so if you've never been here before, we're going to look at the Vegas odds. We're going to look at what the lines look like. We're going to see if players are in or out, and we'll go from there. So we'll do that. Then we'll maybe look at some trends, if there are any trends, and we'll build out a lineup using DVP if possible. Some people like the DVP, some people don't. I completely understand. It is a good starting point. On top of that, if this video is enough for you, that's awesome. We are trying to make you a better DFS player. If you do need a little bit more help, we have a lot of free content. We have FTA Plus as well. So $24.99 a month on FTA Plus, or as of right now, we have a couple coupon codes left. MLB VIP, get a yearly pass for $75 instead of $199. For NBA, we've got DFS player trends, we've got minutes played, we've got fantasy points allowed by position, we've got Vegas odds, top plays. So the top plays are both Fanduel and DraftKings, DVP, and implied team totals. We got our player projections, which that's basically what our article is about. So we'll talk about all this afterwards. So taking a look at Vegas. So we got the Lakers versus Charlotte. Now, as of now, I think both AD and LeBron are going to play, but again, we don't know that. And Charlotte's not a good team at all. So Lakers have opened as a 9-point favorite. 232 over under. We got Dallas versus Philly. Close game here. 1.5 point spread. 241.5 over under. So a higher over under there. Sacramento at Cleveland. We've got a 5.5 point spread right there. 234 over under. Clippers versus Atlanta. Clippers are currently open at a 4.5. It has stayed at 4.5. 246.5 over under. So there are some games we want to look at and we want to focus in on. So this will be one. Golden State versus Brooklyn. We saw Golden State on Saturday night. We saw Steph put up 60 actual points, and they still lost to Atlanta in overtime. And we were all over Steph. He was in our sports betting as well. It's just unfortunate they lost that game. When you put up 60, you feel like your team should win that game. And then we've got Toronto versus New Orleans. We've got New Orleans right now as a 9.5 point favorite, a 235.5 over under there. So a lot to go over. Those are the ones. So if you want to like focus on some games, obviously a 246.5 over under. We want some Clippers in Atlanta. Clippers are good offensively. Atlanta obviously just went into overtime with Golden State. Steph put up 60. Atlanta still put up a ton. So we're going to look at that. So that's the highest over-under. Next one would be Dallas and Philly. Obviously, we're looking at Luka here. We'll look at some other players there as well. So that being said, let's just kind of take a look to see if people are in. So Embiid's going to be out for a while. So value will open up, whether or not that's Paul Reed, whether or not that's Mo Bamba. So just kind of looking. We can do it two different ways. Let me know if you guys like this way. So what we're going to do is we'll just go game by game since there's 6 games. If there was 12 games, it'd be pretty hard. The video would be extremely long. The MLB videos are like that. If you haven't already checked it out, go check out our playlist. Go check out the MLB content. Basically anywhere before October where there's a full slate of 15 games, we break it down every single day, 45 minutes to an hour long every single day. We brought that to you guys, I think, consistently every single day, minus a couple of times. So we'll kind of break it down a little bit here. If you like this way to break it down, let me know. Leave a comment. That could be your comment to try and win. So that being said, also this Wednesday, I don't know if there'll be any content out there for video. There might be a video. I don't know if we'll have any FTA Plus content. I have to go into the office, so I have to drive an hour and a half on Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be able to edit anything on the video or the website. So if that's the case and we are out that day, I will add a day to the end of your package if you have an active account. Once it ends, we'll add the end. We'll see. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to break that down. As of now, I'm guessing Wednesday we won't have any FTA Plus content. We'll see. So that being said, let's just go game by game. So let's go Lakers, Charlotte. We know that Charlotte's bad. LaMelo's currently listed out. Most likely he will be out. He was out Sunday, and it's a back-to-back. I'm guessing he will, in fact, be out, which obviously opens up value. So we just go point guard. So if LaMelo's out, and Lowry's out. So Lowry's not going to play. They traded for him, and I believe they're going to trade for him before whenever the trade deadline is. He'll stay out. So depending on the plays that we have, if LaMelo's out, someone's got to take the advantage of that. Correct? So we just kind of look at this. I just kind of seeing if they've thrown anyone out there. So Miles obviously makes sense. If we don't have LaMelo, Caleb Martin would make sense. But again, depends if he plays the minutes, 21 minutes. The minutes are there. It's just Cody Martin. It doesn't feel like it'd be a Cody Martin day. So with LaMelo being out, with Lowry being out, Gabe Vincent, that's kind of what we're looking at. So the players that make sense in this game, obviously LeBron, obviously Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has a fantastic matchup. Charlotte's the worst here. They're ranked 30th for Davis. If he can stay healthy, again, the minutes are what's there. So he didn't play for a couple of days, played 36 minutes on Saturday. That's what we're looking for. So again, though, 9,900. For cash games, you're looking for 5. You're looking for basically 6 times value, 6 to 6.5 times value. If you're playing tournaments, you're looking for basically 7.5, 8 plus times value to really take it down. So what that means is if he's 10,000, 6 times value, he's got to hit 60. Hasn't hit 60 since 119 versus Brooklyn, but had back-to-back games there. So he is capable of it. 9,900, I'm okay with Anthony Davis. Just the health scares me a little bit. So Lakers players, or just players in this game that make sense to play, LeBron, AD, Miles Bridges. Love me some Miles Bridges, especially if he did let us down, though, against OKC. We used him at 8,500, 68 the game before. I was like, okay, maybe he'll go. And then he got 20.75. So that's what scares me a little bit. The inconsistency, he's been pretty good. OKC, I don't know what happened. 32 minutes, and was not ideal. Hopefully he bounces back. I mean, people are going to look at this. They're going to say 20.75 and go off of him. I want to take it. I want to take advantage of this. And again, if you look at this game, it's got the 240 or it's got the 232 over under. So we can take advantage of this a little bit. AD makes sense. D'Angelo Russell, he makes sense when both LeBron and AD were out because we took him when he scored 54. Then they were both in 26.25. So at his price of 7,100, he might be too expensive for me. We look at Brandon Miller, a little cheaper option a little bit. 6,800, OKC, 50.5. He's 6,800 again. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but if this game stays competitive-ish, Brandon Miller at 6,800, I don't mind him. Austin Reeves, I obviously love him better when the big guys are out. But again, if you look at this, they were out and he scored 42.5. They were both in. He played 39 minutes, 45 fantasy points there. So I don't mind Austin Reeves here at 6,800 against a very bad team. Might lock him in. Austin Reeves might be a play that I look at for point guard, and I wouldn't feel bad about it. PJ Washington, probably, he's very inconsistent. The minutes are inconsistent. The outage is inconsistent. I don't feel confident, especially if AD is in the game. I'm probably off him. Nick Richards, kind of the same thing. The pricing, I'm off of him. So I would Hachimura, obviously, he's in a good spot when AD and LeBron are out. But again, when they're in, he's not a factor. So if I'm looking at this game, it's basically Brandon Miller and up for me to look at for both sides. Look at Dallas, Philly. Obviously, Luka. Love me some Luka here. He's very expensive, but again, he's going off. He's a little bit lower here. Didn't get the value we needed against Milwaukee on Saturday, but again, you know what you're going to get. As long as he's healthy and he plays the minutes, he's going to play 40-plus minutes in a game. So I don't mind that. But again, Dallas lost that game. They were down double digits, and he still stayed in most of the game. Got to claw back. So he makes sense. Tyrese Maxey. My problem is don't know what he's going to do. So, he was hurt a little bit. The minutes have fluctuated a little bit, but when he's on, he's on. So Maxey being in there in this high-paced game, if we look at this, a 241.5 over-under, which as of right now, it's got Dallas as only a 1.5-point favorite. I'm okay with Tyrese Maxey. With Embiid being out, Maxey will hopefully score those points. It'll really depend. If Irving is out, then Doncic, obviously in or out, it would give a bump to him. Tobias Harris, we've got a questionable tag here. Did practice on Sunday, so it's in a good spot there. I would look at him. I would look at Kelly Oubre Jr. a little bit, 6,500. Let us down. Inconsistent as well. Tournaments, I'm okay with Kelly Oubre Jr. If you're not playing tournaments, I'm probably off of him. So this is a question I had in the Discord channel or on Twitter. I can't remember where. Who's going, so Embiid is out. Is it going to be Reed? Is it going to be Mo Bamba? And a couple of times it was Bamba. The majority of the time it's been Paul Reed. But again, we look at this. Embiid was out 15 minutes, 7 fantasy points. Okay? Then we look at Mo Bamba. We look at him at 4,500. Game log, 16 minutes, 12.5 fantasy points. What is going on at the center position in this game? So Philly, so he's out. So then we've got KJ Martin, played 21 minutes, 22.5 fantasy points. This is the problem. Embiid is out. We know that for the foreseeable future. Who's going to step up and take his place? Think of it like in football with a running back by committee is kind of how I think about this one. So KJ Martin, Paul Reed, Mo Bamba, I really don't know. At 3,500 KJ Martin tournament play, I'm okay with. But again, if you're making multiple lineups, you make 20 plus lineups, KJ Martin as a tournament option in a close game with a high over-under, I'm okay with that. Because, like, if you just look at this, I mean, you put him in there, you can build around a 6,600. Will I put him in there? No, because his inconsistency. But it's an option. Maxi Kleber is in there. You never know. So we look at Kleber. He played 34 minutes. So Kleber was the guy the other day. 34 minutes, 32.75, 3,300, only jumped up to 4,100. I would probably go with Maxi Kleber there. Still, they haven't priced him out. And we used him on Saturday. He was in our cheat sheet. If you go check that out, he was there. And I'll show you the cheat sheet at the end of this video. I'll show you yesterday's cheat. I'll show you everything from yesterday, so you can kind of see what we have to offer at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So I would look at Maxi Kleber there for sure. He makes sense. Melton's a questionable tag. Exhum's a questionable. Derek Lively's out. Nicholas Batum is questionable. There's a lot of questionable tags in this lineup. So it's probably Hardy and up for me. I wouldn't go to Mo Bamba. Probably KJ I'm off of. Paul Reed, again, like I said, it's going to be up in the air with some of the plays in this one. But again, I think locks are obviously Doncic, Maxey, Kelly Oubre Jr., Tim Hardaway Jr. is there. The minutes are there. The production hasn't been for the most part. Yeah, he had the outlier 51.5. That's exactly what it is. An outlier, I just don't trust him. Let's move on to Sacramento at Cleveland. If we looked at the over-unders, Cleveland being a 5.5 point favorite, 234 over-under. So bonus obviously makes sense. Always in store for a double-double out of him, especially if you're playing or either DFS or sports betting. Like there's triple-double there, double-double there, double-double, triple-double there, double-double there, double-double there. So it's almost a lock. It's probably like -2. I haven't looked at it. It's probably like -200. We look at this, 49, 55, 68, 60. The minutes are there. Sabonis makes sense. You're paying up big time at center, though. Donovan Mitchell's been pretty damn good. He did get ejected, I believe, on Saturday. Yeah, the game was already over. Played 35 minutes anyway, and they won the game. He got ejected. Put 60 up, even getting ejected. He's been on fire, 9,700. I don't mind him. He makes a good spot. De'Aaron Fox, I'm okay with. Darius Garland. Minutes-wise, it's fluctuating. Darius Garland, more of a tournament option. Evan Mobley came back. We had him in our sports betting. 48 fantasy points, had 10 rebounds, 28 actual points. Came through at 6,500. He's 6,800 now. Those would be what I'd look at. Keegan Murray's I'm always up for him. Big Iowa guy, 51.75 against Miami at the end of January, so feel confident with that. Malik Monk, Max Strus, Kevin Huerter. I'm probably down Harrison Barnes and up on this one. So if you're looking at like the depth charts for both of these, it is basically Harrison Barnes at 4,800 and up would be like my player pool in this game. Then we got Cleveland versus, we've got the Clippers versus Atlanta. There's a lot to like here. Obviously, Trae Young coming off that big game, 42 minutes in overtime. Not a huge, he didn't have one rebound, had 6 assists, 35 actual points. It's crazy. He had 35 actual points, but only 48 fantasy points. He didn't really do anything stat-wise. With assists, with rebounds, blocks, steals. That's crazy. But 9,500 against Clippers, I'm okay with that. Kawhi, James Harden, again, he's been up and down for me. Probably more of a tournament option, but yeah, like you see. Friday against Detroit had a good 34 minutes, 18 points. So that's what probably look at like Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, Paul George. That would be what I'm looking at. Down to here, if I'm looking, it's probably Norman Powell and up in this depth chart here. So there's a lot of plays. Love this matchup. High over under, a close-ish game here. We saw Atlanta puts up a ton of points. We see Clippers put up a ton of points. This just feels like people are on Harden all the time. Then he has a bad game. Then people are off of him. I feel like I want to be on Harden on here. Russell Westbrook is a cheaper option. If you look at Westbrook at 60, and he's not that cheap anymore. He's got a good option. Just depends if the minutes are there. So that's what I'd look at in this game. Then we got Golden State versus Brooklyn. Obviously, Curry putting up 60 actual points. Put up 79.5 fantasy points there. Basically doubled his outage from the game before. But again, he had 39 points. They had 61, 64. We're looking right around 60 fantasy points out of Curry in this matchup with Brooklyn. Brooklyn currently a 3-point favorite. 236.5 over under. I would definitely be looking at Steph here. He makes a lot of sense. Michael Bridges makes a lot of sense. Price at 7,200 in this game against Philly, 34.75. You're looking basically about 35 plus out of him, which is only about 5 times value. So it's definitely something to look at. Jonathan Kuminga, another day. If you checked out our video from Saturday, you saw that our sports betting has been basically hitting everything but like one bet a day. Kuminga let us down, I believe, Saturday. 34 minutes, 16 points. He did. I had Jonathan Kuminga 20 plus points out of him. Didn't get it for us. His first bad game it's his lowest game since January 10th. So he'll probably have a bounce back game there. Nick Claxton, we had him with 10 plus points. We had him 10 plus rebounds, 20 or 10.5 points or something like that. He hit both Saturday against Philly, 45.75. So he makes a lot of sense. I would probably go down to Dinwiddie and go up, but Dinwiddie's a tournament option. 26 minutes, 16 fantasy points. It's been up and down there. Then we go to Toronto versus New Orleans. Again, New Orleans being a heavy favorite of 9.5. Again, if you've been with us with these favorites, if they're big favorites like this, I'm always scared of a blowout. I'm always scared of it being a blowout by the fourth quarter. Then player X, Y, and Z, who you paid $9,000 plus for, are out of the game or ejected or whatever. But we'll look at it, Toronto, New Orleans. We'll look at the plays that make sense. Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes makes a lot of sense. The minutes are there. Fantasy points pretty much are there. You see the outlier of 28. Scotty Barnes I like. Brandon Ingram I like. Zion, it depends. The minutes are there, 52 and then 38, 28, 37, 30. So coming off a really good game against San Antonio. It's middle of the pack defense against him. I don't mind him. Emmanuel Quickly coming back. He didn't play for 2 weeks. Came back 38.25, 32.25. So at 7,000, I don't mind Emmanuel Quickly here. Just make sure he's in. RJ Barrett with the questionable tag. If I'm looking at this, I'm probably you can go. So we had Trey Murphy the other night. Didn't come through for us at all. No, I'm thinking Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles came through for us. So that's just another way. I'm probably looking at basically Jacob Poeltl and up, but the problem is Poeltl with the minutes, they're fluctuating. So it's definitely something to look at. So definitely would be looking at Jacob Poeltl and up. Tournament, basically, if you don't trust Poeltl, it's Jonas Valanciunas and up from there. So those are the depth charts. Those are just another way to build around. But let's take a look at fantasy points allowed by position. Now, it's a start. This isn't an end-all, be-all. If this was, then we'd all be rich. But this is just another way to do it. So if you just want to go through and sort it, and this is on the free tool on FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, you can see San Antonio, Washington, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Utah. Those are the top ones that have given up the most amount of fantasy points, but they're not on there. So Memphis and then Charlotte. So Memphis isn't on there either. So we're looking at Charlotte. So we're looking at point guard. We're looking at right here. That's why, and I didn't even look at this. I just knew that Charlotte is a bad team. That's why I would be looking at Austin Reeves here. So Austin Reeves, I'm going to put him in there at 6,800. I feel very confident about that. We move to shooting guard. Take a look real quick at shooting guard. Utah, Atlanta, Lakers. So Utah is not playing. Atlanta is playing, and the Lakers are playing. So that means the Clippers, shooting guard for the Clippers, could be in store for a good game here, because if you look at this, average, Atlanta, they're giving up 46.2 fantasy points to the shooting guard position. So Paul George obviously makes sense. He could be small forward as well. 42.5 at 7,900. We look at Norman Powell, same thing. But his price makes a little bit more sense at 5,000. So if you want to save salary, Norman Powell would be there. He's looking lately averaging right around 25 minutes a game, averaging more than 1 fantasy point per minute. But he is up a little bit. So Powell, would you put him in there, he would be a salary relief type player. Again, stars and scrub type lineup, you go very low priced, high priced. It's kind of how the game goes. Move to the small forward position. Washington gives up the most. Then we got Utah, San Antonio. None of those are playing. We're looking at Charlotte. So we look at Charlotte. Again, another Lakers player. Small forward. LeBron is in store. Should be in store for a good game. Minutes-wise, 40 minutes there. I needed a total of, I think, 40. I can't remember what it was. He also let me down. He would be one that I'd be paying up for here. So the Lakers against Charlotte, as long as the game can stay kind of close, could be that stack for you today. So I'll definitely be looking at the Lakers here. But again, you put a 10,000 player in there, we're at 5,600 as an average. Then we move to the power forward position. Atlanta, they're the worst. They give up an average of 52.3 fantasy points per game to power forwards. So Atlanta, Chicago, the Pacers. So we're looking at Atlanta again. You can kind of see a trend. Atlanta defense, Charlotte defense. We'll see. So we've got the Clippers here. It's Kawhi. The problem is if you're paying up for him, he's in a good spot. You pay up now. We've dropped down to 4,800 per. It's going to be kind of difficult. But this would be one where this, like, and we talked about this. So let's just take a look before. I have an idea. Let's just take a look before. So Wizards give up that, then Atlanta. So it's the Clippers again for center. So is Zubac out? Game log. The minutes are there. It scares me a little bit. Mason Plumlee, the minutes, they're kind of there as well. But I said this before, but we are looking Philly. Philly gives up an average of 54 fantasy points, and I kind of mentioned this earlier when we went over it, but Kleber at 4,100, you plug him in there, then you can average 5,000 the rest of the way. Now, this is not the only way to do it. Again, if you feel confident about certain plays, maybe you want to take out LeBron and put in Luka. I mean, that's 2,000 difference. Or maybe you want to take out someone and put Curry in there. So if you put Curry in there, then you can only average 2,900. So it's not possible. So this is the start of a build. This is the brainchild process that I go through when I'm building lineups as well. So this isn't the only way to build. We have a ton of other information, and I'm going to show you that other information. Give me 1 second. So what I've mentioned is FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. You can sign up. You can go for free. You can sign up to FTA Plus. There's a lot of ways to go about it. A lot of free ways, and then we've got FTA Plus. So player trends is another way. So we'll just go down the list real quick. So I am done with DFS wise, but if you guys want to stick around and kind of see what we have to offer, definitely check that out. Another way to support the channel, like the video, clicking on the ads. They're annoying. I completely get that. But 30 plus minutes on this video, hitting an ad to help me out would be tremendous. So that being said, we look at the player trends. So you can see it goes, and this is Saturday or Sundays, but it goes FanDuel spreads and totals and DraftKings spreads and totals. So it shows what the average is of a player, what they've averaged out when, like Giannis, 35 games of them being at least a 10-point favorite. He's averaging 59.6. James Harden, 11 times, 63. So player trends are there. totals are there as well. Definitely helps you out. Just another idea. You can see, if you go like DraftKings, you can see the player and what they're averaging fantasy point wise on the year, but then it breaks it down by spread. So that's a good way to do. Another tool to use. This one is minutes played. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It is the depth chart of everyone who's played at least 1 minute on the year for every single team. You can see it on DraftKings, but this is actually a way to break it down. So every single team, last 5 games, you can see what they're averaging last 3, 5, and 10, and all. So that's just another way. We've got the fantasy points allowed by position, which we've already talked about. The Vegas odds, which we've already talked about. DFS top plays. So the top plays are both by DraftKings and Fanduel, DVP, and implied team total. So all this information is from Sunday slate, but like Miles Turner against Charlotte, 57.3 is fantasy points he's averaging per 48 minutes, and a DVP rank of 29. So stuff like that. And then implied team totals, the totals there, 124.5, Lauren Markkanen, you're kind of looking at the team. And it's just, that's another way to build a player pool. So if you got a player pool, you can come to these tools. Hopefully it helps you out. Then we've got the player projections. So it's exactly what it looks like. We've got our team, play, matchup, projections for FanDuel and DraftKings. Last 5, their floor, average, and ceiling. And then the Vegas odds, over-unders, and team totals. Another tool for you guys. Then we go to the chalk. So again, if you're playing cash, you're playing tournaments, whatever you're playing. If you're playing cash, you want to stay with the chalk. You want to look at it with the ownership. If you're playing tournaments, you want to kind of find the lower ownership. So like a Markelle Fultz or a Malik Monk or a Quentin Grimes. So if you're playing tournaments, you want to look at down the lower ones for ownership, and that's how you want. You want, obviously, differentiate yourself from the pack, and this is a good tool to do that. We've got the cheat sheet, which this is yesterday's, but we've got, so here you go. We've got each position. We've got cash, 4 or 5 plays at each position, and then tournament plays. Then we've got leverage plays. On top of that, we've got DK tiers. We've got lineups. So, yes, you can find optimal lineups here. They are a starting point. They're not just a copy and paste and that's it. If you want to just buy lineups, there are definitely a bunch of scammers out there on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, other places that just sell lineups. They don't do 30-plus minute videos. They don't dig into the stats like we do. So if you want to help us out, definitely check us out. And then finally, we've got our sports bets. You can see a lot of green. This is part of the content. So if you get FTA Plus, this is part of it as well. You can see doing pretty good lately. We've had 1 or 2 miss, but other than that, felt real confident about them and doing well. So, and you can go back and you can see all of our bets for all of the year that we've got. Yes, we're not hiding it. We're not Vegas Dave. We're not going to say he's never lost somehow. He's stupid. But we show you our green, we show you red, we show you the positive, we show the negative, we show everything. So that being said, that's what I've got in this video. Hopefully this reaches a new audience, even broader audience today. Hopefully you guys stick around. We've got NBA, we've got PGA every week, NASCAR coming up in a couple of weeks, MLB coming up in a month and a half. We're very excited for MLB. That's our best sport. It's our favorite sport. It's our best sport. It's the one I know the most. I know pretty much every player. So bringing you that information. If this video gets at least 50 likes, someone else is going to win. So that's what I've got in this video. Good luck. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.